the increasing ability to both gather information from individuals and to send information to individuals in some circumstances could actually transform, just as one example, could transform disaster response into something where the people who are living with the consequences of the disaster literally in the minutes afterwards can be given information that can make the difference between life and death.
So real-time communications is crucial because it creates solid information that you can act upon. At the same time, it's crucial to identify how solid that information really is. Can you stand on it? And can you understand whether you can stand on it while protecting people's identities, privacy, and their own human rights?
I think the most amazing thing that the real-time initiatives we're seeing through social media, through all kinds of other things, is it's enhancing the ability to self-organize for people, to help themselves, to help each other, to hold other groups accountable for that kind of thing. And it's always people helping each other is the first line and the most important line of disaster response, emergency response, etc.
My experience is mostly with Haiti, that's where my knowledge is. So after the earthquake, a lot of information was pouring in on Twitter, on Facebook, talking about missing persons, talking about collapsed buildings, and all of this information was constructing a very vivid landscape of what things look like on the ground. And there was a whole series of organizations that wanted to try and make sense of this data and try and make it structured so that we could make sense of what was happening.
We're never going to be able to listen to every single voice, so the question is how do we aggregate that to make a picture of what happens? Because as I said in the panel, we're preparing for the delivery of food to 10,000 people, not for the delivery of one individual at a time. And so it's not a 911 kind of system we operate in the international community, and that's not what we're responsible for. So we're still figuring out those boundaries.
Real-time engagement is the present of all sorts of development efforts, humanitarian relief. It's there. It's not the future. It's happening now, and so it's a matter of how organizations are responding.
Open source is important to us because we see an actual democracy in the code. It's transparent, it's accountable, it's efficient, it's participatory. And those are the elements that we really need to see if we're going to build a lot of these great projects that we're talking about and really get this community support that we need to have the effectiveness. So for us, that's really the baseline, working from open source and seeing what innovations do we need to build on top of what's already been built, wherever it may have been built, whether in Nairobi or in New York City, meshing those together and then localizing and building out according to the needs that are always going to be unique to a specific context.
Real-time, the availability of real-time or information isn't just a new resource for existing institutions, that when you internalize real-time information, you actually have to become a different kind of institution to use it. And the presence of real-time information now creates this imperative for institutional transformation. Some institutions will be able to manage that transformation, many won't.